person who will be speaking here tonight. That threat of a lawsuit, including Ms. Burnell's position that the First Amendment allows speakers in these chambers to make derogatory statements towards council members, and her position is the First Amendment allows speakers in these chambers to use all the profanities and curse words they want, provided those words aren't threats to a person or cause violence.
I disagree with your gross mischaracterization of my First Amendment complaint, but I am honored that my efforts have led this body to cease decades of unconstitutional censorship of public speech control. The $6 million lawsuit settlement with LDG was signed and finalized the very same day that you filed a lawsuit against me. That was never about protecting litigation strategy. It was punitive, malicious, and retaliatory, an outrageous abuse of your elected positions and a gross misuse of taxpayer money.
Madam Clerk, do we have any addresses to the council?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right. We have a different night tonight, folks, and to the public, as far as admonitions. Unlike the Kentucky State Legislature and Congress, which do not allow public speakers at random, this body has made a practice to allow the public to come in and speak before these council meetings on topics of their choosing. Since this council was formed over 25 years ago, it has used the same admonition at its meetings regarding public speaking. This admonition has been used with the intended purpose of maintaining decorum and dignity of these chambers. The admonition has included prohibiting the use of derogatory comments towards council members, not using profanity or curse words. Recently, this body was threatened with a lawsuit by Tina Burnell, a person who will be speaking here tonight. That threat of a lawsuit, including Ms. Burnell's position that the First Amendment allows speakers in these chambers to make derogatory statements towards council members, and her position is the First Amendment allows speakers in these chambers to use all the profanities and curse words they want, provided those words aren't threats to a person or cause violence. I've had constitutional lawyers look into this matter. As a result, I'm of the opinion that her legal claims on this particular matter, while other matters I disagree with legally on her and with her, while unfortunate, is likely correct. Thus, it appears that speaking in these chambers by the general public is now open to the Wild West. And curse words and profanity and derogatory speech will be permitted moving forward. As thus, I would say the new admonition is this to the public. Still, the speakers will be limited to 3 speakers per topic, either for or against. However, be prepared for the use of profanity, curse words, and derogatory statements. Whether you find them morally offensive or not, you're likely going to have a chance that you're going to hear those things. If you have young children here with you tonight, often people bring young children in with them, you may want to have some caution. For those people at home whose school-age children like to watch Metro TV in these chambers, maybe to learn about government, parents should be aware of what is to potentially come. As the chair of this meeting, I will no longer be able to stop such. Thank you, Ms. Burnell, for expressing your legal opinion to us regarding the First Amendment, speakers in the chamber, and the right of people in this chamber that are speaking to make derogatory comments and use profanity as they choose. Madam Clerk, call the first speaker.
River Tina Burnell.
President Ackerson, I disagree with your gross mischaracterization of my First Amendment complaint, but I am honored that my efforts have led this body to cease decades of unconstitutional censorship of public speech. I stand before you tonight because 19 of you, including 10 Republicans, voted to use taxpayer money to file a lawsuit against me. At least you got a threat first. For nearly 11 months, you have remained silent, indifferent, and complicit in the harm being inflicted upon my family. My legal fees are now over $13,000, and that's just the monetary cost. Let's not forget the Jefferson County Attorney's Office. Their legal advice was so questionable that their first instinct was to suggest a lawsuit to silence the person for calling them out. Metro Council versus Tina Burnell isn't about protecting the public's interest, it's damage control. The $6 million lawsuit settlement with LDG was signed and finalized the very same day that you filed a lawsuit against me. That was never about protecting litigation strategy. It was punitive, malicious, and retaliatory, an outrageous abuse of your elected positions and a gross misuse of taxpayer money. The audacity it took for each of you to cast such a vote is staggering. Some of you wouldn't recognize ethics or integrity if it slapped you in the face. Yet in a mere 42-minute closed session last July, you were persuaded to weaponize public resources and the full weight of Metro government against me, one woman. It wasn't a show of strength or leadership. It was a panicked miscalculation of epic proportions. It was cowardice and conformity. And now I have a message for you. You serve and work for the people of Louisville, not the other way around. When citizens or even former employees speak truth to power, your responsibility is to answer. Your responsibility is to be transparent and accountable, not to launch a legal attack on the taxpayer's dime. Public service means serving the public, not the institution, not fellow politicians, and certainly not a culture that demands silence over accountability. Your attempt to intimidate and silence me has only strengthened my resolve. The more each of you slander me behind my back, the more people see exactly who you are, taxpayer-funded bullies. Lastly, I want to thank Council members Hawkins, Joseph, Chappell, and Leninger for having the courage and decency to withstand the pressure to participate in this disgraceful action. Unlike those of you who operate behind closed doors, I have nothing to fear from the truth. I look forward to my day in court, and I trust that transparency, accountability, and facts will prevail where political power and lawfare have failed. See you there.
Mr. President, that concludes the addresses to council.